Welcome to the Eat, Slay, Live podcast.
And we are the Loxecutioners. We're going to be eating lightning and talking thunder and power bombing you right in the ear holes today.
Welcome to the Eat, Slay, Live Daily Grow with myself, Todd Locks. A lot of rights, a lot of crosses right there. And I am the people's champion. Well, it is National Mental Health Month, so that's our subject all month. I'm giving you kind of helpful hints to how I make my own life a little happier, and I'm bringing guests on, some professionals, some people that are dealing with mental health. I want to start a new segment today on here, and I know some of these new segments I have not been done very well at, like the book review, the book club, which we did not do very well. I have not done very well at the Kindly Savage, thanking people. But what I'm going to do now is a new thing where I say happy birthday to everybody on my friends list whose birthday it is. So here we go. Kendry Lynn, happy freaking birthday. Amanda Church, my next door neighbor with her and Casey's army of children over there, happy birthday. Brenda Fink, another neighbor of mine. Jen Bonner, the legendary mom of the Beast Man. Jay Lindley, what's up, Jay? Just ran into you the other night. Jason Hargrave, thanks for the nice message the other day. That was freaking awesome, brother. Jeanette Lawrence, we had her husband on not too long ago. And David Hatton, happy freaking birthday to those people. Anyway, like I said, it's National Health Month this month, and we're trying to just thunder punch it right in the face. We're trying to put it out there and just talk about some things. I have a guest on here. She come to Pride Fitness for quite a while now. I'm not sure. She'll probably tell you how long she's been coming. And I remember she hadn't been coming very long, and we were having a special event here, and she showed up early, and she just kind of told me about her journey, some of the like her dealings with mental health, and I don't know if it was just kind of she just wanted to let me know what she was going through and things like that. And also she was like talking about how Pride had been, helping her get through this side. So at this time, she's a little bit nervous. We do have Zach Rhodes. What's up, Zach from Beverly Farms, Kindly Savage All-Star. What's up, Zach Rhodes? I'll see you Saturday, brother. All right. We're going to bring on to the stage Erin Westbrook. What's up, Erin? How are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. Before we came on, you said you were a little nervous about it. Don't worry, I'm a little bit nervous too, and I screw this up every freaking day. But here we are. And you're a little worried about your puppers getting in the way too, right?
Yeah, they're gone. They'll be back though.
Okay. So now, tell me where you're from? Where'd you grow up?
So I grew up in Roxana. Went to school there, lived there most of my life until actually October. So I just moved to Bethalto now. So
stepping up in the world.
Yeah,
got out of the hood, went up the hill, went up Vaughn Hill to Bethalto. There you go, moving on up in the world. Can I ask? Is it proper to ask a woman? Used to you couldn't ask a woman how old she is. I don't know. Can we do that now? I don't know. Can we?
I think so. I'm 31.
31. Okay.
Yeah.
So I was telling a story a little bit. How long have you been coming to Pride now?
I want to say about 2.5 years.
About 2.5 years. So,
yeah.
Did you start at the old building?
No, the new building. So 2 years.
Yeah, we've been here. We're going on like in July, August. It'll be 3 years. So, okay, you started right after we'd kind of got rolling here. Yeah, and I remember we were having getting ready to do our obstacle course out here, and you showed up early, and you just we kind of was sitting in the back, and you just kind of started telling me your story about dealing with mental health, and we brought you on here today, one, to tell your story, what you've gone through, how you cope with it, the things you do to feel better and to live better, and then maybe to inspire other people, or if people want to reach out to you. I've put on the post, I've put the National Mental Health Hotline on there. I'm going to bring that up real quick just because I think that's important. Where are we at? I don't know. See, Erin, we mess this up every day. So I got the mental health hotline up there if you want to call it 24/7. Also the text line if you don't feel like talking. They got this new technology now called texting. Yes, you can text them. You don't have to talk to anyone. you can text them and just say, I'm not okay, and there'll be someone to listen to you. So no judgment there. So Erin, you came to me, told me your journey, and you do what's called, you've done in the past, like a self-harm or self-injure thing. Do you want to tell us a little bit what that entails?
Yeah. So it's kind of a long history. So I've self-harmed for half of my life. I actually started in a junior high bathroom. So it starts really, really young. Me and two other girls were in the bathroom, and we broke a compact mirror, and we cut ourselves. And I don't remember why we started it or what really brought it up, but I remember feeling like something that I've never felt before. And it kind of was an addiction for me in a way, to where it made me feel so good, and it made me feel something emotional wise where I hadn't felt it before. And so I just kind of kept doing it. So anytime anything really bad happened, or I just wasn't feeling okay, I would hurt myself. And it also stemmed from different ways.
Up to that point, like in the bathroom, were you having some mental health issues, or just normal middle-aged school kid problems?
Just normal school kid problems. It wasn't anything major that I remember. And then from there, I remember depression like really taking a hold. Like I was acting out, doing all kinds of stuff that wasn't really who I was. And it just continued into late adulthood too. So, or not late, early adulthood. Oh my goodness, early adulthood and my mid-20s, to where it got so bad that I actually tried to unalive myself. So.
Now, like I did some research. Like I didn't know much about this, and I had done some research on it. It says that like when you cut yourself, or when you do some self-harm, your body reacts to that because it's the nerve endings, and it releases some beta endorphins, which for a short time makes you feel really good.
Yeah.
So people who like are having a bad time, or they're depressed or something like that, they cut themselves, their body reacts, kind of sends the beta endorphins, kind of like when you work out, that really good feeling, and it kind of makes you feel good for temporarily. Is that how you describe it?
Yes.
Now say you do this self-harm, you cut yourself, like how long does that feeling, that good feeling last, and is there suddenly regrets after it's over?
No regrets for me, at least up until I did do the act. But like in general, like if I was just feeling down and I would cut myself, it felt good for about an hour. It wasn't very long. And then I would do it again. Like it was just a repeat thing until I would be like, okay, like I feel okay for today. And then I'd be good for a couple days, and then something else would happen. And then it'd be a repeat cycle to where I would do it again.
And they say there's various forms of self-harm. I mean, some people cut themselves. Some people might burn themselves with a match or a cigarette. Some people might punch something like a wall. And that's not like a Kyle all hopped up on Busch Light and Monsters punching a wall, but they punch a wall or something, again, to feel sorry, all the Kyles out there, to feel that little endorphin release. Now, when you would do this, it's painful, correct?
Not at the time. Like probably your first time it is, and then like as you know what to expect, you look forward to it. At least in my case, I did. I was like, oh yeah, but like it made me feel good for an hour, and then but it wasn't painful. It's something I looked forward to, which is really odd to say, but the first time it was painful. I was like, why am I doing this? And then
right.
Then I was like, okay, well, this is great. But
it goes with normal human instinct, to self-harm yourself like that.
Yeah.
And so was it kind of like taking like drinking some alcohol, that sort of euphoric feeling when you take that first drink and you kind of get that buzz going, or a drug or something like that? Is that kind of how you describe it?
Yeah.
Like
a high.
Yes. At what point did you become to think, hey, this is kind of a problem, this is an issue?
In college, because I
You
played
do it
soccer.
continually from middle school up to through college?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then in college, I played soccer, so it was really hard to hide it at that point, and I was like, I have to figure something out. And then I switched to drinking during college. That was my self-harm in college, drinking, because I couldn't hide cutting myself.
Now, so like what in middle school and high school would you wear just long? Now, I don't think we've discussed this, but you did this on your wrist, on your forearm, correct?
Yeah, and my legs, and I've done it on my feet as well.
Gotcha. So would you wear long sleeves on your arms to cover it? Would you wear things to cover it up?
Yep, and I still do that. I don't self-harm anymore, but I still wear long sleeves. I mean, you've seen it in the summer. I'll be out working out with a sweatshirt on. It's just kind of become normal for me.
Right. Now, was anyone alerted to this, like in middle school, high school, any parents or a teacher or anything like that? Any authoritative figures in your life? Did they see it? Did they know you were doing this?
I think my parents found out in high school. I could be wrong. I don't remember exactly what they did about it. I think I went to counseling, but counseling never worked for me. I don't think I was ever open enough about it or mature enough to want to talk about it.
Right. Just went in there and just gave them a little bit, but nothing too deep, I guess.
Yeah. So.
But the counseling, they knew you were doing the self-harm, correct?
Yeah.
I gotcha.
And I was never honest about it. Like I was just like, yeah, I've done it once or twice. I won't do it again. Like whatever could say to get them off my back, pretty much.
Oh, that was dumb. I'm not going to do that any given or blah, 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 blah. I mean, did no one really see this, because if you're doing this all the time, there had to be a lot of scarring.
Yeah. And sometimes like I wouldn't do it deep enough. It just like looks like a cut, like, like I scratched myself or something. So it was easier to hide, like, oh, I just scratched myself on a door or, a wall or something. I fell or anything like that. But eventually it did get out of hand where I was just wearing long sleeves or longer shorts or pants or whatever at the time to where nobody could really see.
Now, I remember you came and you talked to me about it. You showed me your wrist. So I feel like is this kind of recent? You've been a little more open about it because I've seen you wear some short sleeves. I think I've seen you talk about it on social media a little bit.
Yeah.
What brought this about? Are you getting a little more, I don't want to say accepting of what you've done, but sort of like, hey, this is me. This is my battle. This is what I'm going through.
Yeah, I think about 2 years ago, whenever I haven't self-harmed in about 2 years. You don't really remember the last time you do it, but it's been about since I started Pride, actually.
Congratulations on that. I mean, it's a weird thing to say, but that's huge, right? For you. Yeah. It's much a part of your life.
Yeah, but ever since I guess I've cut it out of my life, like I'm not scared to talk about it.
No pun intended, right?
Right.
Right. You gotta laugh about things.
Goodness, yes. No pun intended. Ever since I cut it out of my life, I've been more open. Like I don't have to hide something all the time. So I've been able to talk about it. Every month of May, I try to reach out on social media and say, hey, like you're not alone. Like if my inbox is always open, if anybody wants to come and talk to me, like I've been there. And it does get better. And that's really, really hard to hear whenever you're in that spot because you don't think it gets better. And it does.
So. And there's, I don't know if you want to talk about this. Has there been any like big traumas in your life that's created you to get to the self-harming? Or is it just normal everyday life? Or is it something you battle depression or anxiety?
It's not a trauma. I got manic depression, so I have really, really high highs and really low lows. So whenever I'm feeling really low, I don't want to do anything. Like I can barely leave my house. I don't want to talk to anybody. But I've learned how to get past that on my own because I never stuck with therapy.
Tell the people listening how do you get past that? How do you drag your ass up out of bed?
My animals, honestly. If it weren't for my dogs, I probably wouldn't have a reason because I don't have kids. I'm not in a relationship. It's just kind of me. So I found my reason why. My reason why is my animals. They need to go outside. They need to eat. I'm fine. Like if I'm in bed, whatever. But they are on a routine. So their routine has really helped me getting better at my job, like in general, having a purpose of, okay, like I have a goal I need to reach today. I have a project that I need to get done. My issues will be there later. Like I kind of put it on the back burner and do what I still need to do. And I've realized my signs. So like if I'm yelling at one of my dogs for no reason, like they're just looking at me and I'm freaking out, I'm like, okay, I need to do something. So now I go to the gym. But before I would just go for a walk or I would just go for a drive. And it's kind of how I coped with it. Just understanding those triggers that you have and realizing this is not me. Like, this is not how I am every day. So once you can realize that, and everybody can, right? Like, okay, I don't do this to Knuckles or whatever. Like, I need to go and do something. That's what's really helped me.
I love that. Just a lot of self-awareness, huh? Like it has to happen. I see.
Yeah. That wasn't there before.
And people don't realize, like when it just debilitates you like that, and you're just laying in bed and you just don't want to move. A lot of people just get up. It's just not that easy, is it?
No. And the other day on one of your shows, you asked what was harder, getting out of bed or just going and doing something. And I knew I was coming on here, so I was just going to, instead of typing some long whole thing out, I decided I was going to talk about it here.
I like it.
It really depends, right? Like, so some days, like, it is harder to get out of bed. Like, you have no reason in your mind, and you're like, what do I have to get out of bed for today? And so if you give yourself goals like, okay, I need to do this on this day, I need to do this on this day, you have a reason to get out of bed. If you're not that in tune with yourself, you could be like, oh, I don't have anything to do today. I don't have to go to the grocery store. I don't have to go to work. It really depends day by day on how you're feeling and what is harder. But once you can work through your reasons why, it gets a lot easier.
And so didn't you go, was it April that you didn't miss a day at Pride?
March and April.
March and April. That is amazing. And we've talked on my little show here about how, like, physical fitness gives you that sort of endorphin kicking. It's hard to drag yourself to do it, but once you do, you feel accomplished. You've hit goals and things like has working out and then taking care of the dogs and things like that, have they kind of taken the place of the self-harm and the cutting?
Yeah. Yep. If I know if it's like today, Tuesday, and I'm going to get really upset at one of my dogs, I'm like, I need to go beat the crap out of the punching bag. I need to go do something. And I always do feel better. Like I feel that 24-hour relief that I once felt from self-harming. So fitness has been a huge factor. And what I realized is I grew up playing soccer. I did it in college. So half of my life I was self-harming, and then the other part of my life I was playing soccer. And once I broke my leg and couldn't play anymore, that's when my depression came back. And I was like, back into that hole. So fitness has always played a big part of my life. And when it wasn't there, I sunk back into that depression.
And Circuit, you're on my hug list. So every time you come, you get a hug, right? So
well, not every time.
Just go along with it for the people, okay?
Yeah, every time, every dang time.
Well, you're on the list anyway, Erin.
Perfect.
Do you see a counselor now?
No.
Is that should you? It's not my should you, or you think you've got it worked out, or you just know you don't need one, or you think you do need to go, or you just rather just not do that?
I think at a point in my life I should have gone, but
Mm-hmm.
right now I feel the most solid I've ever felt. In 31 years, I feel stable for the first time. So no, I personally don't think I need to go. I think I'm mature enough now to where if it does pop back up and I'm in such a dark place, I can be honest and open enough to a counselor. So I'm not saying don't ever go see a counselor. It's just really what works best for you. If you're in a state where you can be honest enough with them and get out what you need to get out of it, then by all means, like, do it. But I just wasn't in that state. And right now I feel okay. I feel like I'm open enough with my friends and my family, and that's my counseling sessions. So right now I feel okay.
I love that. What would you say to a person who's went through like this, does the self-harm, that, like tried to unlife themselves? What would you say to them? What should they do? What you know what I'm saying? I know everybody's what they use to their journey's a little different, but where would you tell them to start?
Honestly, just start by looking in the mirror. It sounds a little cliche, but look at yourself and say, hey, I want to get this out of life. I wasn't doing that for the longest time. I was scared to be alone. I was scared to do all this. But if you look at yourself and say, hey, I want this goal, like I want this, like I have a reason to live for it. And it really, really helped me. I hate saying it does get better, because that's the last thing you want to hear when you're going through that. It genuinely does. Like, I just bought a house. I have a new car. Like, I have a promotion. I wouldn't have been here. And at this point, if 6 years ago I was successful, I just think, I don't know if I've answered your question, but I think being open, talking to people, looking at yourself in the mirror and realizing what you want for your life is the game changer. For me, it was, and that's what I would tell other people.
Well, I, for one, I'm super glad you're still here. I love watching your journey down at Pride. It's just, you got your own little, you guys have your own little posse that comes in together. I love that. I saw some things that it just, if anybody's listening to this, that there's some things you can do, some breath work and meditate. We talked about exercising, journaling. One thing you can do is journal, write down your feelings. Have you done that? Have you experimented with journaling at all?
I have not, but I have a friend. He recently recommended journaling to me because I started feeling a little lost again. And he's like, journal, do this, like write it out, because I have a hard time saying what's wrong with me. So it's on my list. I have to go get a journal, but it's something I'm planning on doing.
I also saw when you're in this state, or when you're a self-harm person, you should journal, write everything down, be honest, go deep as you can, write it down, and then just rip that mofo into shreds and freaking light it on fire and just trash those notes. I'm someone who writes all the time, but I don't rip them up. But that's what they say someone who self-harm should do. Music is another thing, going for walks. And they talked about like rubber bands, putting a rubber band on your wrist. Have you heard that? And then snapping the rubber bands. Another one, if you're someone who self-harms, you're supposed to set a timer, 5 minutes, the 5-minute rule. And then, wait 5 minutes, don't self-harm, and then set it again, and just try to keep doing that. Set little goals of a few minutes without self-harming, and then try to let the feeling pass. Any of those things you recommend? I mean, obviously exercising, you're going to try the journaling. You've heard of the rubber band method?
I've heard of the rubber band method, and I've done it. I've done the rubber band method. It does help. It's more for like anxiety. So if you're feeling really anxious, like snap it, and it's kind of brings you back down. It's really helpful for me. The rubber band method has. Gotcha.
Erin, I super appreciate you coming on here. We have another comment on here, and it's Leah Watson, another Thunderdomian. She says, "Thank you for sharing your story."
Yeah, of course.
I I super appreciate you coming on here, telling your story. I appreciate when you reached out to me. Probably about 2 years ago, reached out to me and just told me what was going on with you and showed me your scars. And you know what, I don't think you should wear long sleeves. I think you should just, you know what I'm saying? They're your scars. They make you who you are. They've made you a better version of yourself. And now you're doing all this stuff to better yourself. Wear those scars proudly. Those are the medals of honor for your life, what you've been through, what you've overcome. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's harder said than done.
I know. I'm sure.
I'm trying.
I'm sure it is. And I thank you very much for putting it out there. You know what I'm saying? If this just inspires one person to say, realize it, like you said, it does get better, and giving them some ideas and some exercises and things they can do to, to kind of get out of that funk. So I love watching and I've seen you over the years, like just become like, just a happier person. I can just see it on your face and see it in your eyes, and I'm sure you feel that too, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, thank you very much for coming on, everybody. Thank you for listening. If you have any issues, anything, there's those hotlines, there's people out there that can help you get better. Anyway, thank you for growing with us, and slay on. Thanks, Erin. See you tonight.
Thank you.